If I had to start investing again with $0, here's how I would do that. Not invest $0, but start from zero. Anyway, if you want to invest because you know it's essential for building long-term wealth and you don't want to have to keep working for the rest of your life, or even if you do want to work, still enjoy some more freedom and some more flexibility, or simply a life in luxury. So if you want to invest but you haven't started yet, this is for you. Because I'm going to condense 10 years of investment experience into the 8 minutes or however long this video is going to be, and walk you through my 6-step process so that at the end of the video you know exactly what to do, where to start, what to invest in, and how much to invest. I'm Sophia. I have a multiple 6-figure net worth invested into the stock market, and I had some ups and downs along the way. So every way I can make it easier for you, I will. Just real quick before we start, we are going to talk only about investing in this video. But when it comes to money management in general, there are a few things that you should take care of before you start investing. I call them the 6 essentials to financial security, and I will link a video about that up here and also in the video description. And now let's start with the investing part. And step number 1 is consume as much knowledge about investing as you can. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I have procrastinated on investing for years. And when I look back, one of the reasons for that was that I was overwhelmed by all the information, and then I thought I had basically make a degree in finance before I can start to invest. Now don't worry, that is absolutely not necessary, but especially if you've been scared about investing, to learn about how this works actually helps. So what I recommend you do is take 1 week or 2 weeks, it doesn't take more than that. Watch as many YouTube videos, read as many blog articles, and maybe even listen to as many audiobooks as you can in that time. I'm saying audiobooks because unless you are a speed reader, it will probably take you longer to read a book instead of just listening to it. And reading a book also means that you can only, do this activity at a time. But when you listen to a book, you can do other things while you listen to it. Like, for example, take a walk, or when you're commuting to work, or when you're doing the dishes. So I think the barrier of listening to a book is actually lower than to read a whole book, especially if it looks like this. But when you do take the time to watch the videos and read the articles and listen to the books, still do not do that in the usual way. For example, lying on the sofa like you would do watching Netflix. And instead either sit at a desk or sit somewhere where you can take notes, either on your iPad or tablet or whatever you take notes digitally, or even with pen and paper. And then while you binge all those videos and articles and books, you take notes. And the goal of these 2 weeks is to understand the language of investing. So as you go through all those media, look out for phrases or terms that you don't know yet and don't understand yet, and look them up if necessary, because that will give you the necessary foundation. And then step number 2 will be to start with free money. And what I mean by free money is, for example, if your employer offers an employer match, then use that, because this basically is free money. Or another example would be tax-advantaged investment accounts. If that exists in your country, it makes sense to start with those, because in the long term you can save money on taxes with those. Now, tax advantages usually come with certain conditions, so you should always check if those conditions also match your individual situation. In Germany, for example, we don't have specific tax advantaged accounts. We simply can use a tax allowance on the money we invest with our normal brokerage account. And just to give you a timeline, step number 2 is also kind of a research step. And you can probably figure this out also within a week or 2. And then step number 3 is to pick an investment strategy. And the way I see it now, the most important thing here is do not overcomplicate this step. So from watching all those videos and reading all those articles and books, you automatically will have come across different investment strategies. And then maybe you will also come to the conclusion that the majority of people out there, including me, do recommend to start with the stock market, because it gives the best returns. You can start with very little money and you can easily manage your risk. And then when we look at the variety of things we can buy over the stock market, now if I would start from $0 invested, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would pick a fund, an index fund, and I would just pick one for the beginning, one that represents at least one market, if not the whole world economy. And the reason for that is that I could still start with little amounts of money, and you can start to invest with little amounts of money almost anywhere. Because nowadays we have this thing called split shares. If, for example, you wanted to buy shares from Meta and they're at the moment at about $600, but you want to start with $100, then you could buy a split share, but then you only have a part of one single share of one company. So then your money is not diversified. So up until now, steps 1 to 3 were purely research, unless you already implemented the free money part. And now step 4 is to look out for costs. Now, for us private investors, costs are very important. And the main costs that we should look out for are the costs of the brokerage account, and even more importantly, the costs of the investments that we buy. And up until now, you probably already picked an investment strategy, maybe even one specific investment fund. And now you look for the costs of the investment yourself. And the cost of the whole thing, the TER, which stands for total expense ratio, in my opinion, should not be more than 0.75% per year. And the lower the better. Now, for a world fund like the FTSE All World, you will probably find prices between 0.05% and 0.5%. That will depend on where you live. Prices in Europe are slightly higher than, for example, in the US. And then you also look out for the costs of the brokerage account. What I would do is I would choose the product, the investment product first. So in our random example, the FTSE All World Fund. And then you look for the brokerage accounts, tax advantaged or not, who do offer that product. Because sometimes not all index funds are available at all brokerage accounts. And then you can compare the brokerage accounts that have your product available and you can go for the cheapest one. Either the cheapest one or at least the one that is most convenient for you and still has good prices. And if that's not possible, if you're, for example, maybe limited in your choice of brokerage accounts that have tax advantaged accounts, then you compare those and pick the best one for you. So now you have learned all those things about investing. You have figured out where to start, so with free money. You have picked an investment strategy, and based on that investment strategy, you also pick the product and the broker. And now step number 5 is simple, but also the most exciting, because you finally get really started. Step number 5 is buy the product. And that will require you to transfer money to your investment account. Unless it's a pre-tax investment account, then this might work differently. And then once your money is there, you will have to place an order. So that means you enter the product that you have picked before, your investment strategy product, and then you click buy or whatever button appears in your brokerage account, and it's done. Isn't that awesome? Not that complicated after all, huh? But it doesn't end here. There's still a step number 6. And step number 6, if you really want to build wealth that allows you to be financially independent at some point, is to put as much money as you can towards your investments. So it will not be enough if you just invest $100 once or $1,000 once, or even $10,000 once. Now, what I did from the beginning and what I recommend you do also is to automate the investing. So you took some money from somewhere, probably your checking account, to invest it. And now you start doing that continuously. And you can automate that transfer, and then you can also automate the order, as in set up an investment plan. But you don't just do that. You also find ways to increase how much you're putting into those investments. And that is what I would concentrate on until you are at least at $10,000 invested. But in fact, a very important milestone in your journey to financial freedom is $100,000. So that is what you can aim for next. And I'll link a video for you here where I explain why that is. Please let me know how that goes because I want to see you succeed. Thank you for watching and until next time. Bye-bye.